Okay, so there are a lot of like, some kind of similarities in terms of how you can incorporate Python with what are they calling it? Incorporating Python with C. But firstly, in order to understand this Python and also make sure that we are able to um, we are able to get along with every of the project ALS is going to give to us. So if you could remember, if you could recall, while we are learning C, the first thing regarding the C is where the tasks that were given to us were those tasks that involves you writing a script, a shell script that is going to run a C code. You understand? So like example like this that you will see whereby you will have like main.c a sample, and then the next thing is you will see that they try to export save that main.c into a variable, into the environment variable, and then what they now ask of us is like, okay, inside your shell script all you have to do is to um, compile the code, write a shell script that compile a C code. So almost everything is the same way. It is similar to how they've been asking us to, like, what is the title here? It said write a shell script that runs a Python script. So it is similar in that sense too. But there are things that makes it differ or makes it different from when you are dealing with C and when you are dealing with Python. Okay. Now, a typical example is when, for example, if you look at this stuff here, you see that we have the Python script, and when a quick crash course on the Python, if you are when you are writing a Python script or you are writing any Python file, the end extension is .py. Okay, and also when you are writing the Python give you access. You can write your Python script inside a file, a whole file, and then you can compile it at once using the Python interpreter. And also too, you can actually use your Python interpreter in real time, like giving you output according to the input you give to it, as if you are working on a shell. So for example, if I am on my machine and I'm on my Unix machine and I want to run the Python interpreter, like do some things with the Python console, or the probably you call it the Python terminal, but the Python interpreter. So all you just have to do, because on every Linux machine, the Python program is pre-installed there. So, and most of the version is actually from version 3 upwards. So to run the Python on my machine, is all I just have to do is just type Python 3, because that is like the version installed, and then once I press it, I will have access to this command line, like this prompt, and I can do all series of acceptable Python syntax and perform operation with it. So I can do, we'll come to this print hello world, and I can do all of those things. But this is not where we are going now. If I want to get out of this place, all I do is press a Ctrl D, the end of file. Or if I don't want to press Ctrl D, normally you would think you press exit like that, but no. In all you have to do is you have to send the exit as if you are writing a function, or you press Ctrl D. So exit this way and it will get out. But this is not where we are going actually, guys. So um, I'm just trying to give an explanation. Now, suppose we are asked to write a shell script that is going to run a Python script, like I said. Now, this is the keyword that we need to focus on: script. A script that a particular script that will run a particular script. And as we all know without doubt, we all understand that when we are writing um, a shell script now, we know that there is something called a directive that has to be at the topmost part of our script. Okay, which is what the hash bang, and then
Shabang.
exactly the shebang, and then the what, the path to where the executable, the shell executable is. And it is what the shebang is. It is actually there as a directive that whatever is inside this file, as long as when this file is made executable, run it, operate on it as if like a code. You understand? So that's the work of this shebang. And then why this stuff is saying, this shebang is actually like the one that is instructing this guy to run anything that is inside. So the focus point, the shebang, and then the path bin, and then this guy is the real executable, which is the shell interpreter, the one of the shell interpreter that among the many lists that we have. Now when we are now talking about the Python, where I want to say, okay, normally now, if I type bash, or let me use sh as another interpreter. If I type sh, you know that I will enter into a mode. An application is running, another instance of the shell on a shell type of the shell is running. That is when I type sh. Now I can say I want to know where the sh is when I do which sh, and it will give me that this sh that you just run is inside the usr and directory, and then bin directory, and then that's where you find the sh. And the same thing applies to the bash. If I say which bash, now quickly, now when we are not talking about the Python, the same way that when we do Python 3 and we run it, and it comes like giving us a console as if we are doing the sh like this, or the bash, or whatever program, the same way we can actually locate where, if I say which Python 3, it will give me where the Python 3 is actually located. So that is now, we are now saying we want to write a script, okay, that's a Python script. That means at the topmost part of our program, we have to put the directory and then the location where the Python interpreter is, in order to get the Python interpreter that will automatically run every script that we have, every code, every line of code that we have. Okay, so am I making sense, guys? I think that side should be justified a bit. Am
Yeah,
I?
it's making sense to me.
Oh, okay. So now, the core point right now is, if I write, let me try to open a test file. I say test, and I come up and say my Python. I'm writing a Python script now, guys, and I'm saying hashbang usr, the path to usr being Python 3, and I'm saying print hello. Now, the key point here is that the ability for the goodness, okay, or the good thing regarding writing scripts, Python script, is the ability to write as many lines of code that you want, and then you give it to the interpreter to execute it once. Instead of what, you know how it will look like when you are writing the Python script line by line, whereby it is one input at a time for an output. So now I do this. Now I write my Python script. Now it is not valid yet because normally something is missing from my file which I created. I said the file name is test, but I said I'm writing a Python script, and we know that Python script ends with the .py. So I have to actually rename this guy with to what .py, so that to make it a valid Python script. And if I open test.py, if you look at it, you will see that it has changed color as in terms of the fact that we've written a program. Now, the next thing that we want to understand here is that I can actually run this Python script by doing Python, by calling the Python interpreter and calling this guy. It will run it this way for me, running the script for me. Or I can run the script, I can make the script run itself, like turning the script to an executable chmod, and then I say test.py. Now in this case, when I run this test.py, it will run. Now, one thing that we could have, like, why is it that it will run? Why should it run by itself? The directive at the top, as long as we have turned it to an executable, the directive at the top means that when we run this guy like as an executable, it will go first. It will pick that hash. This is how it will be reflected on the terminal: hashbang usr, then bin /python 3, and then it will what? It will then go it will pick that stuff, it will break it into token like this, and then the next thing it is going to do is what? The next command be inside the script, it is going to put them into tokens. So I say print hello, right? It is going to break them into tokens and then act on them. If there are more, another one, like that, like that, like that, like that. That is how it will take all of them and then operate on them at once. So that is one. That is concerning when talk about writing shell scripts, Python script. So now, but there is a linkage here that we need to understand. We are asked to write a shell script that runs a Python script. Now the point is, the shell script is like, okay, shell script, we can put .sh, or we might not. So if I say this shell, this file, and I call it this, that is, this guy create an instance of a shell, and then I want you to, what I need you to do is find um find call, okay, call this um executable, or call this, yeah, call this executable. Okay, somebody wants to say something.
Mike, you
Yeah.
said for the first line you wrote, you said create a first instance, create an instance of a shell.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, this
I was
first
thinking
line.
that it actually means like run this script for, like run the following statement using a bash shell.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's going to run, yes, of course, using the bash. But normally, this stuff is as if you are writing bash on your main terminal, like let's call it the parent terminal, like my main terminal. I'm writing bash, and then the next thing I'm writing this part followed by it, and the next thing I'm doing what again? The next thing is I write this part, and the next thing I write, probably I say print hello. That is how everything is broken down. Like you are calling the bash, running the bash. When you do this, this is running this stuff here. So in that sense, it is creating an instance. It is like, it is running this stuff here, creating an, if I can change this guy to sorry, not that one. Quickly, I can change this guy to sh. It is going to call another instance. It is like going to call this program, run this program, and calling this program is calling an instance of a shell. Let's do this sh and let's see. And if I run it this way, if this stuff is actually found in the environment of this sh when it calls it, then it's what run what is here. So to prove all this, right, let's see, in order to clear it down. So if I say I save this guy and I turn it to executable shell, and I do shell. Oh, there's a syntax error somewhere. Where is that? Okay, probably I need to put this inside the quotes.
Is it not that USR bin Python needs to have the hash before it?
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. That
The hash
shebang.
and the exclamation.
Oh, okay. Uh, Actually, no, he doesn't need to, because if he does like that, I'm not sure. He doesn't need to. Let me run this like this, because like I said, it's like this one will call this stuff, and then it's as if we are placing this directory normally on the terminal, and then we are now um, doing this guy. So normally now what I did here is like I am actually I want to run an inline script, like this guy I want to run, instead of like maybe this stuff is stored in a variable inside a file and it is stored in a variable. I want to run this guy directly. And I think another thing that we need to understand is there is a project that talks about this, a task when you're running inline script, I think you have to add the dash c to it. So let's see, while I am enclosing this guy as a single statement, let's all see. Can you see now? It's not clear. It's not clear. Let me open it again. If I open the shell, so what is happening here is like you are typing. Let me practicalize what I'm saying. You are This is my terminal, my parent terminal, and I say sh. When I do that sh, it will call the instance of sh, and then what is now doing is calling, it is now locating this guy, this application or this executable, and then the next thing is it is running this guy now. This stuff from this point forward, it is a property of this python 3, so it is now going to take this guy as a single statement to run like this. So this is my main terminal. If I, as if you are doing like this, do you see? So what that this is how this thing is interpreted, in sense that when you call this, it will actually bring up, yeah, somebody wants to say something. This is not where we are going, bro. We are wasting time. We still have a lot to talk
I
about.
wanted to say, why not use just Python 3? Why are you adding the part?
Yeah, the part is just to be very specific and to
But we
ensure
can use Python
we
3
can use
alone,
python
right?
3 because automatically it is stored in the environment. But as a good practice, it's always good you just get the full part, just to ensure that you are not, if you, sometimes this, in some machines it might not be stored in the parts environment, like global parts, so that you can access it from anywhere. But you can just use it this way and it will run the stuff like that too. Can you see? Josephine, is it clear? Are you confused? I am ready to really break it down and explain again.
I am following. It's clear.
Okay, so now you can see now, Judy, that it is actually calling a new instance behind the scene. You can see that this is sh now. It is not even the bash because we have the bash. Is this making sense, Judith? Okay, good. So guys, so now the point here, this is an inline script. Now there's a tax that say that actually stored something like this, all of this string, single string inside um a variable, the variable environment, and then it asks you to run it. That, I think, where is it? I think the second one say run inline. Where is it? Quickly, where we go to the main stuff. Oh, where is it? Look at this is a pi code, so you can see it is enclosed in a single string, and it is saying that you should run it. Normally, if you do it the way you are doing, you want to, probably you might have done the previous one. If you have solved it, where I'll give an hint, or I believe with what I explained, we should be able to have know how to do this tags 0. So the point is, when you are actually doing this inline, you need to put the dash c option in order to run the file. Now, one thing, you can actually check the man page of python 3 too from your terminal to see all available ways you can interact with it on your terminal. So you can see dash c. It said command, specify the command to execute. This terminates the option list. Following options are passed as arguments. Can you see? As arguments to the command. So the dash c, right? Okay. So you can check as many of the options here in order to know what is going to happen when we try to run python, and you do python 3 and any of these options according to, you can see I can run this with this guy, the inline python script, in order to actually import a module. So with dash m, now guys, that is the basic of, okay, the python, you with the shell running a shell script that can run a python script. Okay, now guys, can I quickly ask a crash question? If I'm to do tag 0 now, how am I going to do it? With I just need a simple brief explanation on with everything that I have spoken about, because we have done something like this before, but it is similar to the C, where we can write a shell script that runs a C file. But now this time around, it is what? A python script. Okay, hello guys, anybody quickly example explanation on how to how am I going to write this in the script? Let me just open my script and let's say this is my script. I say vi answer. So this is my shell script. So what will be my commands here? Quickly, we have lots to talk about. Okay, let me call names now.
Judith's hand is up.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
No, 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 it's a mistake.
Don't go and do mistake in the that will not
Hi,
be
Judith.
reversible. Oh yeah, Josephine, let me call you. You should be able to give me. Just try. Don't worry, I'll guide if there are anything just to
Okay.
clarify.
I wanted to answer, but her hand was up, so
Don't mind
I
Judith.
had to give her time.
Okay.
So
So the point is,
we are writing a shell script,
yeah, exactly good. I like as you
so
started.
we will have to have the shebang.
Okay.
Then there's something I this export thing was not actually I was not understanding it, but I think let me try. Maybe you
Okay.
can go to that question and I see the question.
Oh, okay.
Kindly.
Okay. Where is it? This guy. Okay.
Yes. So then we have Python file name will be saved in the environment variable. So
Okay.
we can, yes, we can use Python 3 or we can use
The
the
full
absolute
parts.
path.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, the full path, yes.
Okay.
And then we need to reference this py file,
We reference this guy, right?
like
Okay.
write this variable, environment variable, because the the Python file is going to be stored in this environment variable.
Perfect. Exactly. So
Yes.
we just call it in front of this guy, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
okay. Any other thing I want to save?
I think you can just go ahead.
Okay. So
Okay.
actually, you are correct. Exactly. Okay, Judith. Yes, I'm with you.
Okay,
Fine.
I just wanted to add to what she has said.
Okay.
Okay, what to my own knowledge, what is actually doing is that this is an expansion. The dollar sign is an expansion, and is an expansion, and what's it called? It's an expansion letter or whatever.
Syntax.
It
Okay.
expands, yes, it expands pi file, and what it does is it now brings up, like it replaces it with
Okay.
the token,
Okay.
like with the variable,
Okay.
with the
Exactly.
value that was given to you.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's just
Yeah, exactly. So the dollar sign expands into this guy, like it decomposes or decompress or um, dissects it and try to look what is inside. So once it dissects it, it will like see what is here, and then immediately it is going to run this guy directly. Okay. So what of something if we do just the name of the if we do just the name with anything happen, because why am I asking? If we look at the fact that we have the directive here too, will anything happen if we just use the name? And before that, let me try to explain the environment exporting into Josephine, as she said she's kind of confused. So normally, Josephine, you can create variables. So you actually have an assignment to do. Just go and revise variable environment variables of the shell. But a quick crash one is that when you can create variables by just typing um, the name of the variable and then equals to no space in between, and then the value you want to store inside the variable. So value assigned to variable, but you will need to use the export keyword as a way to what actually set it to your current environment. So you're actually like saying, hey, I'm not going to have this file like normal file like ls, so that um you can see py file instead like ls, and you see py file with that name. Instead, I want it to be stored in my environment variable such that I can run it from my environment variable, or I can have all of this guy inside this variable and have access to it. Okay, so what is happening is you are creating variable here. So basically, so and this is the value of the variable, and the necessity of the variable is like so that we can be able to reuse this actual content as many times. So okay, now just this keyword creates a variable for you, and we know with this is the value and this is what we are going to have access to. I think that should clear the everything about that. Now the main point right now is that, just like Judy said, when you reference the Python 3 like this, it is going to run this guy to create an instance and then place this guy as in front in order to call it, and then it is going to then cause um, expand into this variable that was created to search through it and see operate on it. Now we can we can do two ways. We can enclose this guy in quotes. It will work too. When you enclose it in quotes, you are actually in quote double quote, actually not single quote. I don't know if single quote work, I've not tested, but when you do it like this, you're actually taking it as a single file, and it will actually expand too, because when you have this when you have that dollar sign in front inside the double quote, it is expansion directly will happen. Okay, so I was saying something. Okay, let's actually run this guy to show that we've passed that one, while we go into the main Python itself, because these are just preliminaries. So I'm going to try to create, let me see if I still have the py file inside my environment variable. So env, okay, is not more, is not in this one. So let me create it. I think I still have my main dot. Okay, I think this is Python if else, so that's why it's not there. No, 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 no. What am I going to do? I can create.
I saw it there. It's there.
Is there? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I need glasses.
I
Abby.
saw up,
It's PyCode, not.
pie code.
It's not PyFire.
Okay, which one are you looking for actually?
It's PyFire we
Okay,
Fine, fine.
reference. We reference. Do you
okay,
get?
okay.
Yeah. So, or let's use PyCode. No, PyCode is actually, we can use either of them. We can write another script that runs this one. Now, but one thing you see, you need to understand, this PyCode is actually what? An inline. So, like I said, when you are running an inline, you need to specify the dash C command for you to for it to run it. So quickly I will do export. Let me see, do I have main.py? I don't have it. So let me do a quick way cut like this, and I can copy everything here. This is just preliminary. So so I can paste it here, and then I can do exports. All I did now is just a shortcut to creating or writing a file in the terminal without opening it with editor. So like I am redirecting the, cat is for printing to the standard output. So what this would do is like it will open this guy, and then I can write to it on the screen, and then I can use Control D to when I use Control D to exit, and it will create this file automatically that way. So export this guy like this, and we have that guy. And what is the name of our file that we created? Where is it? I can't recall the name. The script that we created. Okay, answer. So I will turn answer to executable. So answer, right? So if I run answer now, good, we have our value. So let me open answer, and let's see if we can just try the name of the variable. Probably that might work. Let's see. Okay, so there has to be a command not found. So okay, let me see if I can remove the quotation and just call this guy. Let's see. The same thing. So you really have to specify the command. So the syntax has to be command and what you want to run, of course. I think that is clear, guys. Right? That is clear. This section is clear. This one.
Yeah.
Any question? You can ask question if you are skeptical about something that you need clarification about. Josephine, are you cleared?
Yeah, I have no question. It's clear.
Okay, quickly now. Now let's talk about the Python itself. Let's dive into Python. So we come, but one of the things we will start with, because these are like the foundational tools that we will be using often and often in order to actually give us different outputs of the of whatever we want to do in Python. So start with, I would like everyone to really try to, if you can go to this material. This one gives you a basic idea of what you can do with Python and possibilities, and just making you get friendly to the Python. So this one, an informal introduction to Python, just like they call it. So all this one will allow you to work with is like you can open the interpreter directly and then start testing these various possibilities that you have here. But now, um, when we talk about a programming language, if we cannot understand how variables are used. Variables is one of the core arts. Somebody has joined, let me see. Okay, variables is like one of the core features of any programming language. So we need to understand how am I going to use variables in Python, how am I going to manipulate variables and all of that. So I'll be in this, before I go to this string formatting, like in interchanging or mixing everything together. I will start with the variables, and I think that's just it. Variables, creating variables, and all of that. So creating variables, that's what we can call it. Now, in Python, when you want to create a variable, Python is actually a dynamic typed language. When what I said dynamic types, or dynamically typed language. Dynamic type or dynamically typed. So we understand the meaning of dynamic. When something is dynamic, that it can automatically adapt and detect something, and then adapt to it. So what does this mean? Python is a dynamic type language in the sense that when you are creating variables in Python, or you are creating data, you want to use a particular data in Python, you don't have to specify the data type, just like unlike the old guy, the old man, C. C is like C language. You have to do the data type, variable name, and then assignment symbol, then value. You don't need all of this in Python. All that is needed is just the name of the variable. So in Python, all that you need is just name of variable, then assign to value. Excuse me. Assign to value. So what does this mean? What does this insinuate? In Python, you can just create you can create variable by just write the name of the variable, and then you assign it to whatever you want to. So a quick experimentation, like I said, I'll be doing. So I'm on this my Jupyter notebook, which I said is very very interesting, very very. So let me try to create a Okay, so I can choose any of the cell. So I can write my Python like name equals Joshua, and I can say print name. I think this thing is disconnected.
I don't know if I'm picking noise like Mike.
You are hearing
I'm
noise.
picking some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bloop, 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 bloop,
Oh,
bloop.
sorry, it is my fan that I just put on because I put it off before. Okay, sorry
Oh,
about that. Yeah, I think that's enough. Okay, so I just wrote the variable name and then the value. Okay, let me see if I can just have an online Python interpreter. This guy program is okay. Do. But don't forget that this will differ in when you can see that we just have a blank line and we can just start writing anything that we want. But if you are dealing with our projects, you need your directive. Just don't forget that. So I can say print name, and when I run this guy, it gives me the output just like that. So what has happened here? I just have my variable here, and then I watch. I have my value, and I call on the print statement to do so. So now, because we are transiting from, let me, I want to close the server because I wish to use that notebook. That notebook is kind of very okay for me. Okay, guys, while that guy is loading so that I can have access. We know that we are transiting from a particular language into another. So when we come to the aspect of C, it when you are printing something to the standard output, you use printf. But when you're talking about Python, printing something to the standard output, you will definitely need to use print. So now let us start with the print itself, and then we let us start with the print itself, and then we progress to the string formatter. We put progress to f string and format string. Now the print statement, or the print function rather, in Python is just it is just to think of it like something that is similar to you using printf. It's as if you are doing printf, but you don't need percent, you don't need any format specifier. You're not specifying any format. Like we say, we say that Python is dynamically typed. So one of the things that Python removed is like, because of the fact that I'm creating a variable in C, I need to tell you that, hey, create a string or a sequence of character variable for me in C. So I'm saying the type of my data that I'm creating is a pointer to characters, or character with a size of blah 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 in the computer memory, in the stack. So C, we will do like this, like car. If you are creating a this thing, you can say car name, then the size of that you want, and then you assign it to my name, like this. Or you can do another one like car name. You can put it this way, and it will actually contain accordingly what you are creating. We know all this basic, that is C. But now one of the thing why we could have think about it, like, okay, because of the fact that C, you must specify the data type. That is the reason also that when you are printing to the standard output, you must specify what are you printing, the type of data you want to print. So it is interwoven, coming from each other, because you must specify the data that you created. You must specify the type of the data that you want to print to when you are using the printf. Now the real point here is the same thing applies to Python, because Python will automatically detect the type of data that you have created, the type of variable that you have created. Automatically, the print statement too, when you use it, it will automatically detect for you, and when you run it, it will give you the output of what you have created. Am I with us, guys? I mean, my network has disconnected.
Yes. Oh, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So, guys, let me take. I think let me see if this guy has exited. Okay, I can run it back. I just hope. Okay, I've saved my previous session. Okay, so I want to take this guy to the main window where I'm using. Okay. um
Imagine we have 15 more minutes.
15 more minutes. I think the session actually is timed for 2 hours, so we'll still have to come back. Before that, we will be able to cover what I really want us to cover. Can we be able to come back? I'm sure we should be able to. Guys, I didn't get a response.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now
Yep.
Python is dynamically typed. So, and when you are creating string in Python, okay, you can use single quotes, or you can use single quotes or double quotes. So my string in single quotes, or string in single quotes or double quotes. So do you get it? So like this it's valid, or like this it's valid. And also seeing this hash here, when you are writing Python comments, when you want to write comments, you use the hash symbol. So cool. And like I said, if we run this guy, it automatically gives us the output dynamically typed. So that is one aspect. The same thing goes for integer. Let's say my number, and my num, and I give it 10,000, and I say print my num. It is dynamically typed, the same thing, and it will give you the output. Okay, cool. Now, um, there are different aspects. Okay, somebody wants to say something.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah.
It's going to give a string. It's not going to give an integer.
Of course, when you are printing,
You have to typecast it.
when you mean when I use a print like this, like
Yes, when you print, try to print a number, is that thing is a string, not an integer.
these are principles that we all, that I believe, like this stage that we already understand. The same thing applies to um C now, right? When we are doing in fact, our printer project um, exposes it. When you are using your format specifier, you have to convert it to string so that it will print it individually, and then you can get the counts. That is the same thing. I believe that there's no need for explanation about that. Are we together? Judith. Hello. Hello, Judith.
Yeah, because you said it dynamically typed, so that's why I'm like I came in that area.
Yeah, there, exactly. Just what I want us to really understand. The same way, the same pattern that what are they calling it? Print F work. The same pattern that the print statement function too works. Even when we created our print F, you have to enclose it inside a string and then specify the format, isn't it? So the same thing happens. So it will, when you are printing, mostly we should just probably get the idea that when we are printing to the standard output, they will have to be in form of strings. But behind the scene, conversions can happen. So the same thing like this. Okay. So but what happens where the dynamically typing, or in terms of if you are not printing, when you do this stuff like this, when you are calling the my num again, it has detected it as an integer, so you can do operation on it, and let me say 20, and then you can call the print function on it again, which is going to really give you uh, uh, my num. Okay, now I believe you know what has happened there. I should have save it inside my num again, so that it can then occur, right? What happened before, I just did only, I called the variable from here, and I just did the addition, and it didn't reflect. Probably we can think on that, but if I should do this now, we should have the addition. So we're saving the value inside the variable that we created. All these are basic that I believe we really understand right now. So I can print what I can print integers, I can print string. That is using the print statement. Now the print statement, to assume I want to, we will get to functions, loop, but assume that I want to print different list of values, I mean sequence of values. So let me say I want to print number from 0 to 10, right? and and I'll say print I in this way. Now, can you see? One thing that we need to understand is print when we use a print function in Python, automatically um, a new line is added automatically, even if you did not specify it. A new line is added. So the print statement in Python can give you options where you can specify if you don't want the end of each character, because what is happening here is, like, look at it from here. We are printing number from 0 to 10, and we will explain what this range is soon. But what this stuff is printing is from number from 0 to 10. Now, one thing that we could clarify, accept here, is that at the end of each of the characters 0, a new line is there, like a new line, like this. A new line is appended at the end of each of them by the print. So you know what is happening, like the print, if the first character is 0, print will print it, add a new line, print will print it, add a new line, all through. So when we now specify that at the end of each of the character there should be nothing, like if I put space, there's a space, and then if I close it this way, nothing, like empty. So don't do anything. If I run it this way, then we are going to obviously have the values all printed directly. Why is this guy not outputting? So print end. Okay, let me see space. This
It
interpret
will not work. The interpreter is having issues.
that's
I tried it so many times.
exactly that was even what I was about to say. That this interpreter is a trash. Excuse me, please. I don't know why my notebook is not coming up. Oh. Okay, it has come up, I think. Let
If
me
you
see.
try it on your command line, it will work.
Yes, I'm coming. Mm, excuse me. Okay, I've been able to create a new notebook. Okay, okay, okay. While I close that, I want to let me close this and use it here. Really, like, I really want you guys to see the notebook, and you guys you will see the enjoyment. Like, it's cool. It's stress free. You don't need to stress yourself. Just do all you want, as many as you want to write. Okay, so new notebook. Cool. Yeah. Let me prepare the new link because I think this one might go off soon. Okay, so alright guys, so PLD. Now I can write I've closed that previous guy. So we're here for I in range, and we say 0 to 11, and we use the print statement on it, and I say print I, and I say at the end of every of the distance don't append anything. So can you see? So we have 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then we have 10. So I can put as many things I want, and it will format it that way. Can you see? Or I can say, now we can use just the print statement this way without putting anything, and it will what, just give you a new line. So like you see, at each of end of each of the character, I mean each of the numbers in the range, it is what, it is adding this stuff to the end of them, and then it will print a new line, and then it will go back again and do like that repeatedly. So that's the print statement. So we can, one of the things we can do with the print statement in Python. Okay, now let us talk about strings itself. Like, what operation can we really do on strings before we now go to f string? String itself, like, okay, I create a string. I say string equals this is a string. Now, it, when you are running Python interpreter, if you just do this guy like this, you create a variable this way, and you just call, if you call the variable in the interpreter in quote, it will print out, give you the output, like it will run it automatically as if you use print on it. So can you see I didn't actually specify print, but I just called this guy on this notebook, like I just did print and I run it. So it automatically just prints the stuff out. Or I can do print string. I know something is not clear because you guys are wondering how did I run it. Let me, this is the run button here, but I use a shortcut control enter, but let me run it officially here so you can see. So I'm running this cell, and so I'm running it. So can you see it's printed the string that we created. That is string. Now there are operations, certain different operations that we can perform on string, and that is what we call. Okay, before I proceed, any question first, like with just some little that we have done before we still dive further into deeper things. Uh, guys, feedback. Any
Judith
question?
hand is up.
Judith, your hand is up. Okay, Judith,
Okay. Hey, I don't know why this hand.
you need to put your hand inside your pocket. We are cleared. Anybody, we are cleared with that. Okay, I think now let us see if what we have talked, so what we have said so far, rather I said talk, what we have said so far, let's see if there's a tax regarding it. So okay, we've seen print was used here, just print and the quotation. So okay, we can use, so this title is about, so this title is about using the print function in Python. So we can use the print to print a variable. We can use the print to print just a string. So just print main. You can see it will print the value. We can use the print statement to do arithmetic. All these things are just things that you guys, you need to practice. But you know you don't need to we don't need to break things down to the barest minimum anymore. We have done the programming. We have actually worked with the programming language before, and just slight differences, like you don't need to specify anything. You don't need to do percent d blah blah blah. If it was print f now, I will need to actually do print f and then specify the the specifier and then 2 plus 2. Imagine all this stress. So Python is direct. It will automatically detect what you want and then just give you the output. So basically, and what can I do again? I can use it to just print a new line, and I can just use it. I can specify a new line itself, okay, on it, the work. So like let's say new line is here, okay, and then we can specify other characters to tab, and we can say I was stabbed. Okay, so when you run this, now what happened, a new line was added before the text, so we have new line is here, and I was stabbed. But now I was stabbed, uh, what happened, I was stabbed from this point. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can add another one, and probably, okay, so two tab, you can see the space. Cool. Now just know that all the possibilities you have in C, it is here even more, but everything is simplified, and you don't, just take away all those excesses from C and just do them directly with the print, or as long as you understand how it works. So the next thing is just you just need to experiment as much as possible. Now another key point here is that why we know that we are exposed to new language Python and we were coming from C. You don't need to be like, you are, just take off your mindset from as if you are learning something fresh. In fact, just see it like C, because one thing I have been able to develop within myself is like, as long as I've been able to do C, okay, Okay. All right. Judith, welcome, welcome. I hope Josephine will come soon
Thank you.
because we still have some cool things to talk about. So we can do all of this operation
I
on.
was thinking that we move quickly into like if and
I have
what is it
all
called?
of them.
One
Yeah, sure.
function. Most
Yeah,
importantly,
they are
function.
all here.
What is that?
They are all here. I'm just trying to go through the basic, but I'm not going to go too low anymore. I just believe it should be clear enough. And now the next thing is let's talk about okay, let's talk about some operation you can do on
I
strings. So
think we should wait for her. Like we should wait for her a little.
okay. Let me tag because of time because those one thing I believe now about these sessions now. As long as you have people that are really interested, you just work with them and that is just it will make sense. You don't even
That people
you,
that are struggling, they are actually like
anybody that sure there are a lot of people struggling and they are not finding time. So all things that's just life. There's no part complete anything anyway. You just have to find a way to balance things. So just me, you're welcome. Yeah. So you're welcome, Josephine. I think she's muted.
I
Okay,
think she
guys.
doesn't know she's in.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
here.
So now let's talk about some operation on string so that you can see how some of these tasks probably you guys are using too many line of code. There are some things you can just do and you don't need to use too much line of code. So let us talk about something called splicing. So splicing in Python. So splicing is just like I see the meaning of splicing in simplest form is like to cut out a portion of to cut out a portion. So like having this my string here, I can actually cut out some portion and have other parts of the string. Now, just like we know in C that string literal, okay, string literal are not um, you can't modify string literal. The same convention came here, the same principle is here too. You cannot modify like you cannot reassign, you cannot change a string literal, okay, in a normal as a programming language is, but you can do operation on them. Why somebody will be like, okay, let us see that in practice and see what we can do. Now we already understand that string coming from the idea of C, it is sequence of characters. And like I was saying before the time was, I said just see C as the foundation for everything, like as the foundation of how every programming language or how every anything in a programming language how it ought to be. Just see like the foundation, like a principle that is the mother of every other thing. And hi Daniel, you're welcome. So you don't need to be you don't need to get um I don't know. You don't need to be afraid of Python or anything. So now, a string is a sequence of characters. So the the same way we can loop through an array in C, like go through each of the elements. The same thing applies to the way we can do on string, right? In C, and the same thing too applies here in Python. Now Python use list as a substitute for array in C. So as array is to C, then the same thing in list is to Python. So what we still have the same way of string or sequence of characters. So what am I trying to say? Um this I can loop through every of the
I'm
characters.
not seeing your screen. Oh.
Oh my lord, I haven't shared and I was already typing. Sorry guys, you could have said that since okay. So we are talking about operation on string. So we want to talk about splicing in Python. So splicing, like what we said, the name is to cut out a portion. I think before I go through looping through every character, let us see something that we can do. So suppose I want to create a new string, which is like a copy of the previous string. So copy of this guy. I can say new string equals string, the string, the original string, and I can do something like this. Now this is one of this operation or splice operation that you can perform on string, as if what just see like okay, a colon, and you can have different option. So I also have this colon like this. What this is going to do is going to create a new string. Like it is going to copy um everything inside here and copy it into this guy. So that is what this guy is going to do, and we can confirm what has happened by printing this new string. Can you see now another string? This is what it is, and let's say we print the original string itself. So I can put in front, I say original. I think I didn't use print, the print statement with mixture with um arguments, where we have different arguments mixed together. So I said original, and we can have comma, and then we have the string itself. So oh, let me run it. I'm using control plus. So you can see the same possibility that is in C is here, guys. Okay, so what has happened, we use colon here and it's copied everything of inside the inside the original string into a new variable that we created called new string. Now let's now talk about officially splice. Like how does the splice work? Okay, so now when you use splice, the splice operation, it you have three options that you can apply to the splice operation. So like I said, we said the splice in Python is to cut out a portion. Okay, so we can have the options that you have in when you are using splice. The options we have, the starting point of where you want to start cutting from, and then we have where you want to stop. Okay, the point or the position you want to stop, and then we have another one called step, which is actually like okay, in terms of at every index of the character that you want to cut out, when you start from a particular position, how do you want to keep moving? That is the step. Okay, so as if when we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, somebody wants to say something, please come, go on. Okay, nobody's saying anything. Okay,
And I want to ask,
okay, quickly.
the stop, is it the same thing as is the stop, is it the same thing as break?
Those are just like adjective words. Yes, we can call it break. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Like where you should break, like to, I don't know, break out of the cutting. Like the cut operation will start when you start. Like I start from. Well, I'll show us how to use it. Like we might have seen it, but the stop is, you can call it break. Probably the best English that makes sense to you. So like to stop cutting, and then return all that you have copied or all that you have cut, all the portion that you have extracted. Or so we can call cut out a portion or extract a portion. So whatever adjective is best to describe or this for you to you. So now we said we can have a starting point and we can have where we are stopping, or we can have a starting point and then the number of steps from where we start and then before we get to where we are asked to stop. So assuming we have something like this, e.g. we have something like this, we have, let's say we have a string and we are using splice on it. We say we start at position 1 and then stop at position 5 and then take 2 steps each, right? So what it's going to do is like start at position 1. Don't forget arrays. Splice operation works on arrays. Slice operation works on, I said slice, splice. Splice operation works on arrays. Splice operation works on a list of things, list of items. Okay, so like we said, string is an example of like having a list of items or a list of, so when we talk about string, we are now what, being specific about a list of characters or sequence of characters. We already know that from the old man C. Okay, now this splice now is starting from position 1. That means starting from the second index, okay, 0 1, and then we are stopping at the, now the point here is that it's not like we are stopping at the fifth index, or we can say we are stopping at the fifth index but ensuring that our count starts from 0. Okay, so that means this fifth index that is here is actually like stopping at the fourth. So you can say start from 1 inclusive, and then stop at 5, but 5 exclusive if you are counting from 1, or stop at 4, whichever. But now before you stop at 4, when you move from 1 position 1 index 1, you need to take 2 steps from that point. So let's say this example now, so if we start from index 1, so 0 1, so we are starting from 2, right? And the step is what, 2 steps. So instead of coming here directly, the next thing is what, 4. But before we can calculate the step, you need to know where you are stopping. So when we start from 2, so 2, you need to count 4 steps from that point. So 1 2 3 4. So normally now all our operation has to be from, get out, has to be from 2 3 4 5. It has to be between this. So anything that is going to be printed will range from this guy to this guy. But now we said the step should be 2 steps. So when it extracts 2, it extracts 2, and then what happens next, it moves 2 steps to extract the next one. So it's move 1 2, it extracts 4, and then what happens next, it wants to extract what, it will want to extract another 2 steps again. But what will happen here is that it is out of the range. That is like the end, and it is going to just give us 2 and 4. So if we use this, like if that is our sequence, we are going to be having 2, we are going to be having 2 4. But let us actually see this thing in real sense from here. Let's use a real example. So let's say we have our string from above that we had here. Where is it, this guy? Okay, so we have the string and then we are saying we want to create a new string and have that copy on it. Or I can run this directly as if I'm running on in interpreter by just doing string and I do splice operation on it. So I say start from position 0 and stop at position 3, I mean 4, like this. I'm just using the start and stop without step now. If I run this guy, you will see what happened. So it started at position what, 0 A, and it stopped at position index 3. So when we count 0 1 2, start from 0 1 2 3, right? If you count, if you start counting from 1, you have 1 2 3 4 actually. And I don't know if this makes sense. It started from index 0 and ended at index 3 actually. But when we count, that is when we are counting from 0. But if you are counting from 4, so like start from 0 to 4. So If we count from one, 2, 3, 4, that's what we have. Or if you count from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, I think that should be clear. Or one thing that you need to know is that a tip here, okay, tip is that the like, how do I coin this logic? The amount of, or the result of your splice is the difference between the start and the stop. So let's say another example. Let's say we have string and we said start at position 3 and end at position let's say 7. So automatically difference is what is difference? 7 minus 3, which is actually 4. So I'm expecting 4 characters starting from position 3, right? If I do that, what is going to happen? So starting from position 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, so the T character, and then moving forward to position 7 minus 1. I think that is, you can put it that way, or in order to, like, if you want to express how to explain, you can say when you start from a particular index, then last index will be that index minus 1. So that's 1, 2. So from 3, so 0, you count 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus 1. That is why we have this guy here. Guys, am I making sense? Is it clear? I need to move fast now. I just want to cover this basic, and some things will be clear while we move to f string, format string, and f string. We are clear? Is it clear, guys? Any
Yes, we
question?
can move on.
Okay, now, so let's add one. Let's say step. So start from 0 and then um move to stop at position 8, but move 3 steps. Now what will happen, sorry, what will happen if we run this guy like that? Then what are we having here? We have ATR. So start from 0 and then move how many step? Move 3 step, but stop at position 8. So there can be a maths here that will help you with the expected number of characters that you are to have. But if we calculate it for, so 0 to 8 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minus 1, right? So that is from 0 to 8 and 7. This is what we have. But now that means everything will be operated on this guy in movement of 3. So 0, move 3 step, 1, 2, 3. So we have A and T, and then move 3 step from T2, which is 1, 2, 3. So we have the ATR. I think that is clear. Now, um another thing that we need to understand, so that we won't make that mistake probably in one of the um tasks, as we go to do them, is that when you use the splice, we can see that normally that what happened here is that, okay, I created a new string, I created a new variable, and I stored splice inside where we did this one here, which is colon. This colon is like, it is starting from the first string, and then it is go all through to the end. So that is why it resulted in the original string as a whole. Now another thing we can do with this splice is that you can do by not specifying if you don't specify the first index, like the starting point, it will start automatically from 0 when it is not specified. So if I do something like just this, like 9, stop at position 9, it will start from 0 and it is stopping at position 9, which is what we have here. So 0 down to position 9 minus 1, that is 8, right? So this is what we have here. So in order to make it clear that as we did this, it started from 0 to the end, and we can do the same thing, like starting from an index 9 without specifying the end. It will actually what, start from that index to the end. So if I run this, I'm having starting from position 9, which is another string, right? This is the string actually. So if you start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so started from E to the end, that is what we have this guy here. And then the last, finally, in Python, when you are working with lists, you can get the end of a particular list by, if I want only the end character. So like, how will I say it? In Python, you can get the end by having minus one. When you reference minus one, so it gives you the last element, right? And when I do minus one, give you the last element, not that operation there. So when I do minus two, it gives you second to the last element, like that, minus 3, minus 4 to the before the last element. So basically, just to wrap this one off, this an informal introduction to Python, you will see some of the samples. Just try to familiarize with them and you can experiment. So that is about this guy. If you want to see what is happening here, like we did from string to minus one, what is going to return. So it's started from the very first, like we said, without, if you don't provide the first index, you start from 0, and then it's what, it is going to exclude the last string, the last character, sorry, which is G from this point. So it gives you the last element, and there are operations you can do on lists where we will get there. Now, moving forth, we've talked about string operations. Okay, we talked about splicing and all of that. Now let's talk about the f string. I think this might be somehow one of the things that is confusing to people. So the f string, function. Now this f string function, normally before all of this, there are different ways that was used in formatting string in Python, which was kind of not efficient enough. So that was what brought about the f string and then format string function. Okay, so if we are, let's take a task so that it can be more interactive. Let's look at something. Let's say, assuming we want to print this, we want to print this guy, we can use f string to print this guy. We can say print. If we normally run this guy this way, print will give us the output, isn't it? This way, just like we did. This is a double quotation inside a single quotation, and it gave us the output the way we want it. And what about f string? So now let's talk about the f string. Now when you are using the f string, all that you need is that you need to specify the character f. Okay, you have to specify the character f in front, and then the next thing is you reference either single quotation or double quotation. So I can have a single quotation or double quotation. So let's start with each one of them. Then what, so I was saying, to use the f string function, you start by starting with the f character, then the either single quotation or double quotation, and then next is you can have different string there. And one of the powerful thing with f string is that you can reference variables or operations in between a string, and it will give you the output. So I can do 2 plus 2 inside of this guy this way, and when I close it, I can reference it by using print. I'm printing using f string, and I can do this guy this way, and I am going to have my output. Look at what is happening. The f string, I'm using it with the print statement. I have the f character and then single quotes, and then I have what I want to print as normal. If I'm not doing any operation, I can just print it this way, or I have sequence of characters and also performing an operation together inside, and then what, I can close it. And if I run this guy this way, you can see that we have all that was given here, and in between strings I have calculation or operations performed. Another example, let's say I'm using double quote this time around. I have f and I have double quote, and I have another way to use f string. And guys, let's do an operation. Let's say we are doing 2 raised to the power of 8, and I am referencing a new, okay, print statement will give, the print function will give a new line automatically. And then what is happening, I want this guy to be in quotes, so I format it this way, and I close my print function. Can you see? So I have this another way, to use the f string, and then the single quote that I want for this guy, and then the operation that was performed using this curly brace. So what is really happening here is like as if there's a kind of binding, well, is it data binding, I will call it, a kind of way datas are being binded together. Normally, guys, soon as we progress, by God's grace, we progress through the program. When we get to JavaScript, actually not JavaScript, but there's a framework in JavaScript that gives you access to something like this. The React, if you have done React before, you can do what we call this referencing, where you can have values in between string like this, in between HTML characters and syntax. That is not where we are going, but this is one of the possibilities. Now let's create a variable, and we say my var equals, what does the variable do? A float, okay, 3.142225 blah blah blah, and then we want to print it using f string. So I can say print I say print f I can say print f. Another way I can use the f string, you can reference it with capital letter, it works, okay. And then you can have this guy still another way to use f string, and I can have the variable that I want to output. It will output this variable for me, and what is going to happen, I can close, and then if I run it, can you see, say still another way to use f string with this what guy being referenced. And I can use that variable too together with maybe a constant, maybe 200, that is whatever is inside here times, and it will what, it will still give me the output. So just see it like as if we are dealing with printf, but you are not specifying any format, anything, you are just using it directly. But one of the uniqueness is this: when you have this curly braces, you can have as many operations. It can be longer than this, please. It can not ordinary invalid this thing, no, because you know that when you type just maybe just me this way, will it run? Let's see. Can you see? So the point is, it is seeing this guy as if it is a valid Python syntax. So you can see error, it says syntax error, because it doesn't understand what just is, it doesn't understand what me is. Is it a keyword? What do you mean? So but inside there we can have as many. In fact, we can call a function if we have created a function. But now that is for f string. Now let's go to format string. There are still possibilities with the f string that we can explore, but let's see format string. Let's see format string. So let me say I have another string, my very new string. Oh, okay, my newer string equals test fields outputs. So what are we going to do? I want to use print to print using format. So now difference with the format string is that you can have your sequence of strings, sequence of characters, and then if you need an operation to be performed in between, just like this guy, you will need to reference a this guy like this, just this way, two curly braces open and close, and then the next thing is you are going to if you close this way, then the next thing is like, okay, dot format. You call the dot format function, and whatever you pass inside will be the value that will be replaced by this guy that we have inside the string, the print statement. So if I say a sequence of character to 200, now watch out. So you can see sequence. Oh, I think this guy is too zoomed. So you see sequence of character, and then this guy here, and you have 200, right? So basically, guys, what is what is happening here is as if one of the things that you can see with all of these functions is you can specify the position where you want your values to be. Like that is even why they call it format. You can format it, you can design your output to the way you really want it to be. So I can do another thing, and I can say another version of using format string. So I can say before this guy here, I can say this guy and then arrow, and I say another one here, and I say arrow, and I close and I say format 20 comma 255. Now what is happening here, what will happen here, one thing that we need to understand about format string is your values that you are referencing, your argument that you are placing inside the format function will be processed in accordance to the way you have your squarely braces. So curly braces, so like 20 will be the first value according to what we have here, and then this 255 will be the second according to what we have here. So you need to understand that, but there is still a way we can interchange the positions if we really want one to come before the other, notwithstanding the way we reference it inside the function. So if we do like this, of course we have 20 as the first argument in according to this guy, and 255 as the second argument. But I can still have this guy this way, and I say interchange. I can interchange them, and I can say this one should be 1, and I can say this one should be 0, and I say interchanged, maybe just to differentiate them. And what is going to happen now, we should see we should see. One thing I would say is that just see this format string as it's receiving argument, as if it is receiving a list of items, as if the way you index it, like as if you have indexed like an array or a list. Okay, so this is going to be like, okay, if you are arranging it like a list or like an array, then therefore this would be like the first index, which is 0, and this would be the second index, which would be 1. So now as we have interchanged it from here, it is possible we are going to be having 255 as the first, and then 0 20 as the second if we run it. So you can see possibilities. And finally, let's see some operation. Let's create a variable. uh, var2 equals 3.9 points, and then we have var3 equals 2000. Now we can do print with a formal string, floats, okay, and integer dot formats, and then we have var2, right, for the float, and then we have var3 for the integer, isn't it? Right. So this is going to be formatted by printing this, and then printing this second variable, this 2000 for the integer. If we run it, you can see that exactly we can also reference variables with the format string. So this thing will make sense when you practicalize and experiment as much possibilities as possible. Now we can do some adjustments to what we are printing or what we print out by using, on floats we can specify the precision by saying, by referencing colon and then dots, the number of decimal points that we want to reference. So I say two decimal places, so I can do colon dot 2f for floating points, and it is going to output this guy in two decimal places. And suppose this value is coming from, probably it is a string, I can convert it to an integer by using dot d, I mean colon d, on the stuff. I've not tried this before, but I suppose it should work. But it should work. So if we reference it, and yes, it worked. So this, oh, it didn't work. Unknown format code for object of type string. So I can't do that conversion. Okay, but I can do the conversion. There is a function in Python called int function, and anything you pass inside will be converted. So uh, that is going to be, okay, not from here, then it will be from here where I can convert. So probably I will do int this way, and it should convert this guy to um, a valid integer. Yes, and it's converted. So this function int, and there's another one called float, the same way to convert to float. There's another one called string, it will convert to string for you. So you can just explore. But now look at focus point. We see this percent dot, I mean colon dot 2f, and it has what, given our what, our floating point value to what, two decimal place. Guys, possibilities, enough possibilities that what are they calling it, um, Python has provided. Are we together, guys? Are we still together? Now if we try to move to some of the tasks and see some realities. I think we've covered some section. In the next that we should have is if else. Any question, any observation? I know I've said a lot. I'm supposed to be getting feedback, but time is not always a good thing. I mean, on our side. Hello, guys.
Hi, I'm still here.
Is it
Yeah.
making sense?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. Now let us see some. Let us see. Am I sure this is 00? Okay, good. Let's see some things with the tax. I have explained this, the one relating to shell, so we should be clear with that. Um. Okay. Okay, now look at this now, like you write a Python script that print exactly this. We can print this with, in fact, this is just a string literal, no, arguments, no special stuff. So we can use an f string. F string can print this thing for us perfectly. So if I copy the text and I come here and I say now, good, this is now like ALX project, write a Python script, don't forget. So write a Python script. So you need to understand that, okay, you have your directive because you are going to turn that script to an executable at last, and then you so that you can be able to run it this way. Name of script. So all those stuff should be is something that I believe we would have understood now. So being not bash, Python 3. Okay, so now a Python script that does what? that's that's print exactly this. So normally we have had this directive, just a Python script is just to print, so we just call our print function and we say we want to use f string, and then let me use capital F and then quotation, and then now I'm doing it this way, and on norms it is actually not going to work because why? This is starting with a double quote, and I am having a double quote. So two ways I can make life easier, and I just leave all the paparazzi by enclosing it in a single quote, or if I'm hell bent on double quotes, I can say this way, and then I say ignore this guy and see it as a symbol and as not something special, don't interpret it. And then like this with the f string, when we run we have our output this way, or you have it the other way around, like this f string, and then you have this guy and the enclosing part, and you have it still the same way. Now somebody is watching like this should have thrown an error, like why this directive should be like we are already in the Python. Yeah, it will just ignore it as itself and it will just run. So that is what this is what which of the tasks, this one. Let's see something advanced or something something. Now okay, this, okay, look at this. They said I think we should guys, I think I should just save time and go to something more complex. If this stuff I assume they're already simple to do right now. Like you should print exactly this way. You are not allowed to cast variable. Your code must be 3 lines long. You have to use f string. So to have 98 battery street. So 98 battery street, like okay, this is what we want. This is stored, number is stored somewhere, and we need to have the string battery street. So I have my directive already above. So print what? F string number. Now my f string is not formatted properly. Number, like we said that we did above, how we can pass variables into f string. So number, and then what should follow? Battery street, isn't it? And then like this we have our output street this way. But I think some person might have been having failure of this task, like it's failing this Python project. Some of the projects, they are making some mistake, they didn't check well, like what they will ask us to do, you'll be seeing another thing even when you have the output correct. So if the fix to that is to pass in this colon d to convert this number a to an integer. However, it's already not as an it's already an integer. So but that's really what will make you pass the the tax. So when you run it again, you have this already as it is. Now let's see something. Okay, we have talked about float and decimal place, but they are saying f string. So the one we did previously was using what was using format string, where we formatted what a floating point value, and you can see format string. But how can we do that with f string? So let me copy this variable, and we want to have float, then the value into two decimal place. So let me have it this way. So this, and then what will happen, print f string, and I will have var2, and then just this is what is needed, and then the string before it, float. And guys, that is, oh, I have not concluded. So that is just all we need. Oh,
Is
sorry.
it not dot two?
I supposed to be, this is what I have before. So it's supposed to be like this and not this, right? Is that clear? Look at the error I had before. This is what I had before, which is not right. It's supposed to be colon, then dots, the precision, and then referencing float, like this. Is it clear, guys? Hope I'm not confusing anybody. I think, do we get what is happening here? Hello? Hello? I'm not getting response. Okay, okay, okay. I've seen a thumbs up. Okay, now, no, 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 no. Let's see something that should shake us. Something deep. Ah, that's timing. Okay, let's go to, what is this one? Okay, let's see this one now. This one, is said print, we should reproduce the string all button school three times without space between, and then we should have the first nine. I want to throw this as a task. Let somebody quickly, how can we achieve this? Let me just copy the string all button and all button school. How can we achieve this? Now, we like, this is the first task ALX is giving us. We have not talked about, they've not exposed us to if else statement or loop or whatever. Now, how can we achieve this with just with f string? Let's assume you don't even know loop before. We want to have this output. Where is it? We want to have this output. All button, like this. A quick one, you can have multi-line state comments in Python by enclosing it in that, so it's enclosing it in triple single quotes up and down, or triple double quotes up and down. You have multi-line comments. Okay, so guys, I will call names. So how can we achieve this? Like, I don't know if else statement, I don't know for loop. I want to have this output possibility. How can I do that? And they asked me that, I think they said we must use what, f string. Okay, f string was not, okay. The condition is you are not allowed to use any loop or this thing. Your program should be maximum 5 lines long. Good. So no loop, 5 lines long. Okay, I think you guys are saying I should call name, and I will call somebody that would not. Judith, oh yeah. Hello, we have just how many minutes left, guys? We have just 30 minutes. Ah, we still have functions. Oh. Can we still do 30 minutes more before we now call it a day? Judith is sleeping. Okay, Josephine, oh yeah, help us.
The,
Okay, let me
I
give.
think
Let
this
me. Okay, say continue, continue. Please continue. Sorry.
I think there's some code there because what I did is take the string, multiply by 3,
Okay, okay. I
and
want.
add. There was some code like that. I don't know.
Okay, I wanted to give that hint already. Like in, you can. I think I should have covered that when we are talking about string. So you can do this in Python where you have a constant or an integer multiplied by a string, which will give you repeated number of that string based
Mm.
on the what, based on the integer value. So like let's experiment. I wanted to show possibility, like this is possible. So f string, and what are we going to do? So f string, and we can say 3 times, let me not even use 3, let me use 5 times string, right? And when we have this, oh, something is wrong. Okay, 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 I didn't comment. Maybe something is happening here. Let me see. Let me comment it out. Okay, 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 okay. So where is the error coming from? String or button?
You know, the string str is not a string. It doesn't have quotations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I wasn't seeing it though at all. I wasn't seeing it at all. Thanks. And that's good. Yeah, so we have a proper string. Yes, please. Let me put this down. Good. So when we run this, you can see we have the string repeated how many times? 5 times. All but in school, all but in school, all but in school, all but in school. And we can have a new line like this. Okay. So, okay, rather, we can do end equals new line rather. I'm even just diverting into other possibilities. And it's not even working. Like,
No,
okay, okay, it will work. It should be here rather. I don't know if I'm correct. Okay, and it's not working now. So what could be? The idea is like at the end of each of them, you should have a new string. So I think that won't work.
no. It can't work the way you want. The way you want, not unless you're using a loop,
Ex-
so that it becomes after every
exactly.
string.
Yeah. Okay, let's put that aside. Now we've been able to see that we can reproduce this guy with this in this method. So we have the first part correct, all in school, and like this. So how can we have just all in printed from this existing? So just having these first 9 characters, and then this rest is not touched.
We slice it.
Exactly, we splice. So but when we are doing the splice, we put this on a new line, right? And then we open another operation or curly brace to perform the operation. Then we do string. And how do we splice now? We want just from all button, just all button. How do we splice? Don't say anything again, Josephine. Judith, how many persons? We have 4 persons on. Just us. Judith has disappeared.
Judith is asleep.
So, so can you help us complete it, Josephine? Having the string, so this will print the string, and it will actually drop the
I,
new line just like here what we want, but we want the first 9. Okay.
I think you can write a full colon, then write 10.
Okay, so starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minus 1. I think so. But when you do 10, then the space will be collected like 0, 1 2. This is how many? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay,
Oh, so it should be 9.
so 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9
Should be 9.
minus
Yeah,
1.
it should be 9.
Exactly, so it should be 9. So perfect. So in order to check, there's no space, is as it is. So that's just it. Like, just this way we achieve, imagine just a single stuff like this. And if you try to compare this with python, I mean, see, you know how many stuff you are going to do, produce. Okay, so there's another operation possibility with string 2, where you can concatenate without do. So you can have your string 1 join to string 2 by just adding a plus in between. So if we have, let's say we have another string 2 is great. So I can, with my f string, I can say f string 1 plus string 2. And can you see? So just as simple as that. And like that we have a new full string. So concatenating all button school with space is great. So what other thing could be? This is something that we can relate with. You just have to think with all the tools that we have learned. What again? Which one is this one? Okay. um okay, object oriented, where we have everything, we have a different, there is the source code. mm. If you look at this guy here, this one, they want us to have the code print just
We have
this.
5 minutes.
Whoops.
Time is not on our side.
Honestly.
And I don't want to be cut off while you're talking. So I would like to say my last words and then you continue. If it's cut off, then we can just go and sleep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wanted
thank
to
you so
suggest
much.
if we can have extra 30 minutes or
30 minutes. No, it's actually almost 12.
at
You
your
know,
place there.
yes.
Oh
Right
my.
now it's 11:13.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I can't go past this. Actually, I am very tired, but
Okay.
I'm happy. I think I have learnt a lot.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good then. All right. Uh, I was, oh my, if else
You
statement.
can continue with Daniel. Daniel is around.
Okay.
You
Okay.
actually have 4 minutes.
I can see Daniel. Okay. How many minutes we have? Just we have 4 minutes. Okay. Just when you are going now, right? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. But Judith, hi. Judith has slept off. So we have a source code here, and they want us to replace everything here with this guy. So we should be able to achieve that just with everything that we've learned so far. So we have new, we have, let's say, let us store all this inside the string, so we can say, oh, oh my god, and we can have this. So there's a trick actually that can achieve this, in the sense that you can create a new string from an existing string. All that we need to do is to actually delete everything concerning inside here, as if we are doing from 0 down to the end, as if we are doing string, and we do from 0 down to the end. right? This will actually collect everything out. So what we can do in order to have that stored, in order to have only this to be stored inside here. Mind you, I said the other time that we cannot actually manipulate, we cannot actually change a string, and there is something behind the scene. I think it kept skipping my mind. When we actually do this splicing, it does not actually um, affect, like, maybe delete anything actually behind the scene. What it does is that it is creating a shallow copy, like it is creating a copy of the actual string. And in that sense, when we do a new string, like let me say new string equals everything inside here, and I print new string, new string equals everything inside string, sorry, and I print, imagine, string 2. Okay. Oh, there is, this is what I want. Where is error coming from? Okay, somebody wants to say some. Thanks for the session. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to print new st. Oh, okay. So we have this guy stored here. So now this actually created a copy of all of these and stored it inside this place. Let me see if we can.